To reconstruct the events of an explosion, forensic teams rely on trace detection. The objective is to gather microscopic debris and identify the specific chemical footprint of the device's main charge. Detonations scatter particulate matter across the blast site. These surviving fragments, often invisible to the naked eye, provide the raw data for laboratory extraction. For common military explosives like 2,4,6-trinitrotoluene, or TNT, this process is well established. Analysts use liquid chromatography paired with mass spectrometry to confirm the identity of the residue. This chromatogram shows the results of a successful TNT detection. We can clearly see the sharp vertical peaks representing the TNT molecule and its characteristic ions surviving in the debris. However, this reliable forensic signature disappears when researchers introduce 1,3,5-trinitroso-1,3,5-triazenine, known as TMTA, into the mixture. TMTA is a volatile, high explosive that can be manufactured without the concentrated nitric or sulfuric acids required for standard military compounds. This makes it a significant component in improvised threats. When analyzing a mixed charge of TNT and TMTA, the results are contradictory. The TNT generates its expected peak, but the data trace for the TMTA component remains a flat baseline. Intrigued, despite adding a highly lethal compound to the charge, the explosive somehow leaves no detectable chemical evidence of itself in the mass spectrometry output. This disappearance raises a fundamental question for investigators. What is the physical mechanism removing the TMTA from the site? Standard liquid chromatography mass spectrometry is often viewed as a definitive tool for explosive forensics. Yet, in this specific matrix, the instrument fails to register the threat. This anomaly suggests that the physical environment of the explosion itself is interfering with the chemical footprint. We need to look at how blast parameters define the limits of what a detector can see. Solving this requires a pivot in our analytical strategy, shifting away from molecular identification and toward raw elemental sensitivity. Effectively identifying these improvised mixtures requires an approach that accounts for the physical chemistry occurring during the detonation itself. To understand why the data is missing, we have to look at the molecule. TMTA is the trinitroso analog of the more common explosive RDX. Here is the molecular geometry of RDX. It is centered around a 6-membered ring bound to 3 nitro groups. We can compare this structure to PETN, which is often used as a booster to initiate these explosions and is consistently detected in the aftermath. The PETN molecule is built around a central carbon with 4 nitrate ester branches. Its chemical stability makes it a reliable marker for forensic teams. Analysts extract these compounds using EPA method 8330B, the standard forensic protocol for nitroaromatics and nitramines. The process uses solid phase extraction. The sample fluid passes through a C18 column, allowing the target molecules to adhere to the matrix for isolation. This extraction is driven by specific solvents, typically a mobile phase of water and acetonitrine. This protocol is sensitive to temperature. Thermally labile compounds like tetrol can decompose in these solutions, meaning the extraction process itself can destroy the evidence if not carefully managed. Under normal conditions, mass spectrometry identifies these compounds by their specific fragment ions, like the loss of 30 mass units, enabling precise chemical classification. While these EPA methods are optimized for stable chemicals, they create a blind spot for highly reactive or volatile improvised mixtures that don't survive the initial blast. To rule out collection errors, researchers used an idealized field test to capture residue. This wireframe construction allowed for perfect sample collection. Metal plates were positioned to catch the expanding gas and debris immediately after detonation. Even with this controlled setup, the results were negative. TMTA remained undetectable in every organic and water sample taken from the plates. The reason for this disappearance is found in the physical speed of the reaction, detonation velocity. Pure TNT detonates at 6.47 kilometers per second. The TNT and TMTA mixture reaches 6.95, while the RDX and TMTA matrix hits 8.00 kilometers per second. That 8.00 velocity indicates the reaction has moved toward ideal detonation conditions. In an ideal detonation, the fuel is almost entirely consumed by the reaction. The shockwave is so efficient that it vaporizes the chemical components. Because TMTA is highly volatile, it is consumed first. The amount of unreacted residue drops so low that it effectively vanishes from the site. We can formulate a physical rule. The higher the detonation velocity, the cleaner the blast. This efficiency mathematically pushes the analyte volume below the limits of mass spectrometry. The physics of the explosion have effectively removed the sample size required for standard identification. Mass spectrometry fails here because it requires a specific population of intact molecules to identify fragments like the M-NO ion. When that population is too low, the signal is lost. To bypass this, the investigation must pivot to gas chromatography with an electron capture detector, or GCECD. An electron capture detector doesn't look for mass, it looks for electrostatic properties. It measures how highly electronegative groups, like nitroso clusters in TMTA, capture free electrons. By measuring changes in electron flow, the GCECD registers a signal from trace amounts invisible to mass spectrometries. This is an analytical compromise. Analysts sacrifice the structural certainty of mass spectrometry to gain the sensitivity needed to find nitroaromatics at these extreme trace levels. When blast physics deplete the analyte, raw instrumental sensitivity must take priority over perfect structural identification. This relationship creates a dangerous assumption for forensic scientists. We can map this challenge. This chart plots detonation velocity against required instrumental sensitivity. Standard TNT sits in the lower quadrant, but high-velocity RDX and TMTA mixtures move to the top right, requiring specialized, hypersensitive tools. The lesson is clear. A flat baseline on a chromatogram does not prove a chemical threat is absent. It may simply indicate that the device was highly efficient. If the detonation inevitably destroys the residue, the logical shift is to move the detection window to before the blast occurs. This is the role of terahertz time domain spectroscopy, or THZ-TDS. It allows for non-destructive, standoff imaging of concealed materials. Terahertz waves occupy a specific frequency that penetrates opaque materials like paper or clothing without causing the ionization damage that could trigger an improvised device. By integrating these waves with deep learning, a system can analyze the reflected time domain pulses and classify the specific chemical signature of the hidden charge. Testing has shown this method can identify concealed explosives with an average classification accuracy of 88.83%. The most effective way to manage the physical limits of a blast is to bypass them entirely, identifying the intact molecular signature before the explosion can erase the data.